Greetings, everyone. Welcome. My name is Diane Thomas. I'm a certified high performance coach, and welcome to the finale of the Why New Year's resolutions do not work. We had, for the last few days, gone over a few of the top reasons why that's a challenge for a lot of people this time of year. But we're going to just do a quick recap because I do have a playlist available for you all to kind of go through what the past 5 days of training was around that, so you can take that at your leisure. Right now, I'm going to just jump right in. We have the title here that this is the season finale, the series finale. So this is going to be the last video that I'm shooting for this particular series. And as you know, that series was leading into something really big coming up. So please make sure that you signed up for that. We're going to have an opportunity to talk a little bit about that today. So before I move forward, today's the last day of Kwanzaa. So Kwanzaa greetings to you, Abadi Ghani. And the response would be Imani. And Imani means faith. And so one of the things that that keeps me elevated around how I'm going to be able to meet my goals, because that's part of what we're talking about here today around resolutions. Resolutions is something that you do because that's very common this time of year, but it's basically goals. After tomorrow is going to be just goals that you're trying to reach. So it's really to remember that the universe is always conspiring for my greatest good. That's the way I think about any big project, any big thing that I'm working to do that may seem a little overwhelming in the case of, as we were just talking about, resolutions or goals. So I have to always make sure that I'm operating in the knowing, my personal knowing, and having faith around my ability to make space for the universe to do its thing. That's our responsibility, I feel. We're going to do as much as we can, and then we need to leave space for the universe to respond to what we're to the work, because we're not doing anything, we don't get anything happening. So it's really a level of confidence that you do have to express as far as that's concerned. And when I think about think about confidence, I think about the ability, essentially it's really the ability to figure things out. And so I definitely have the ability to figure out that I need to leave space for the universe to do its thing. So Imani, to me, that's what we're talking about in terms of our communities as Black people, and we're making sure that we are leaving we're moving forward in all of the principles that we went over the last few days. It was really to make sure that we are now opening up that space for the universe to do its thing, and for us to have the ability to make sure that we are staying congruent with what the universe wants to happen for us, and that we will always be open to that. So closing all of that out today with wishing you a opportunity, hopefully that's something that you're going to be working towards as one of your resolutions, is to have more faith in yourself, faith in your communities, faith in the work that you're bringing, your abilities to make things happen for yourself as well as your families and your communities. So just to catch you up again, we were just talking again about the series and your ability. You have the option to go back and look at the number of videos that I put up. I'm just going to go over really quickly what we talked about and then move into what's next after this series. So one of the things that I opened up with when I talked about this series was the number of people, as you generally know, who are having challenges, and you may be one of the 84% of people who really do not meet those resolutions, as they are you may have sat down and made some plans, or maybe you probably did it just really in your mind coming to the end of the year about what you wanted to do. But really, a vast majority of people do not meet them, and probably end up ditching the whole thing right before Valentine's Day. Usually between 1 to 6 weeks, it just doesn't happen. anymore. So the series was just basically to give you some tips about how you can make sure you keep going past that 6 weeks. So there were five things that I went over. I'll go through the sixth one today. So the first one was about getting clear about what your why. What is it? Why is it important for you to do what it is you want to do now? Why is that important? And how you're going to define clarity for yourself, clarity into who you are, how you're going to show up, what success looks like for you, what is going to be that clarifying statement or clarifying thought that you have. Because if you don't have clarity about what it is you want to do in terms of your resolutions or your goals, you're going to be easily distracted and moved off of that goalpost if that's what you said you want to be able to do. So making sure that you're very clear about that, making a list maybe of your opportunities and losses, and um, how you're doing now as opposed to where it is you want to get to, and determining what the necessary things are that you're going to be able or you're going to need to do to make sure that you achieve whatever it is now rather than later. You've got to be able to weigh those out and why that's important, and what also you need to believe about yourself so that you can make those strides in the direction that you want to go into, because you kind of already have to have a frame for how you're thinking about yourself so that you're able to meet those goals more definitively and on a consistent basis, and they become a part of your life. So the clarity piece is very important. Next up, we were talking about making them achievable. So uh, they've got to be, though, even though they're achievable, some of the challenges around that is that sometimes they're so uh, big that they're out of reach, or sometimes they're so small that they're actually things that you do very quickly and then you get bored, or you get bored doing it. So as I think about this, I think about how we make them challenging enough so that they can keep your interest and reachable enough so you feel that you've accomplished something significant. And so that takes some thought. That takes some time for you to think through what is something that's a comfortable reach for me, and how can I get there? What is the plan for moving towards getting that accomplished? And so one of the frameworks that I gave you was talking about SMART goals. And so you're looking at goals that are specific so they're not confusing. You're also looking for them to be measurable. So there's some way that you can keep track of the progress that you're making around them. Also attainable. So they're in consideration of where you are and where you want to go. Is this really something that you're going to be able to get to the level that you want to in the time frame that you want to? Relevant. So they need to relate to values and what you see in terms of your dreams and your ambitions. So they can't be things that are outside of what your values are. So that means you've got to be very clear about what your value, going back to clarity, right? Value, clear about your value, clear about your dreams and the ambitions that you have for your life, so that you are going to be able to be responsive in that space, and that you will get to the levels of success that you want to. And then time bound. So they should have of course, you have your target date that you already started, right? It's January 1st. And so when do you plan on completing that, and have a date in mind for that? So it isn't something that you constantly put off all the time. You actually have um, a set time, set day, set month, whatever it is, for you to get it completed, because that then will allow you to do what the next tip is, which is planning for your success. And in planning and using those SMART goals, you'll then be able to break those goals down into tasks that you can schedule. You can schedule them on a calendar. You can schedule them in a planner of some sort, some way that you're able to keep track and make sure that you are on in a space where you can be accountable for making sure that those things happen. You also can build in some buffer, maybe before or after the date, that you set for yourself, just in case something happens that is beyond your control. You can make adjustments and move very quickly. That's some of the things also that at times throws people off in terms of distracting them from getting to the goals that they want to, because they think, oh, well, I had this one setback. I wasn't able to get to the gym 5 days. It was only 4 days or 3 days. So I'm just not going to bother with it anymore. I'm just going to give it up. I'm not interested anymore. I lose interest, and I've decided to move on to something else. So building opportunities in for maybe you can't get to the gym 3 times a week this particular week. I know for myself, because I try to work out at least 4 to 5 times a week. That's what I set in my mind, right? That's a part of my lifestyle that something that I've built into my lifestyle. But there are some days, depending on, because I work for myself and I work alone. I don't have a team, so I've got to do some things sometimes that take up more time, and maybe then I'm up later than I want to be, and then I'm having to get up later the next day, and then if you haven't had that experience, I'm sure most of us have had, where you see part of the day's gone and you had your time set for the thing that you want to do. I've given myself, which is my big word of late, the grace, right? So I've given myself, and that's that grace period, right? Before or after the time, the day, whatever that I wanted to do the thing. So I may actually, instead of working out around 9:30, I may not work out till 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, possibly, making sure that I give myself that opportunity to catch up. And then in the event I don't even get to it that day, it's okay. I will make up for it on another day. But building in those adjustments are going to be really important for you in terms of the plan that you put together. Always put in another day, but building in those adjustments are going to be really important for you in terms of the plan that you put together. Always put in a space time for contingencies. And then tracking your plan. So you've got your plan laid out, right? We talked about putting them in a calendar or some sort of space where you can make sure that you are able to give yourself the opportunity to make adjustments and to have it written down. Because I'm a big believer also, if it's not written down, then essentially it's really not going to get measured and not going to get done. So to measure or track all of that, you're writing it down, and then you're honoring the struggle, as we mentioned before, in terms of uh, making sure that you're accomplishing it, but then also, putting that plan into use. You got to use it. Doing a plan is going to be completely useless if you are not uh, executing on it. So you've got to execute. So, for instance, I wear a tracker, and so I tell myself, all right, if I decide I want to do 10,000 steps a day, I'm watching that tracker to make sure that I'm able to get my steps in to meet that obligation. If you, for instance, maybe have a relationship this year, you decided, well, I want me and my mate to have five. Um, 5 date nights. So that's maybe once or twice, a week. I want that. So you both are going to have to schedule that, put that in your schedules, in your plans, and then track that and make sure, check in. If it's like Friday, that's your date night. Check in on Tuesday evening, maybe Wednesday morning. Hey, are we still on for Friday night? And this is even with your friends or relatives that you don't see very often. Maybe they're far away. It could be that you've arranged to have a Zoom call or some kind of video call every week. Check in, because things happen. Can you still meet this day and time for this call? And you're checking in with them, you're checking in with yourself. So this also helps you to confirm. We tend to let time kind of go and get away from us. And then before we know it, the opportunity is squandered, and we say, oh, well, we do it next week or next month, next year, in the case of the resolution. So give yourself an opportunity to be successful with this by building it into a schedule. and then tracking that schedule. And then also in terms of overcoming self-doubt. Self-doubt is another one of the challenges around why resolutions don't work. Your feelings are going to be bound in some sort of way by things that are new, that are challenging, and that are significant. You being able to get to those levels and make that achievement as you like to are usually around something. If you're nervous and having doubt about it, it's usually because it's new, because it's challenging, because it's significant. So in terms of trying to overcome that challenge of self-doubt, there's really a couple of ways to look at this. We're all, as adults, we've accomplished so much in our lives. And I find for myself, when I start thinking about some of the challenges with that, I have definitely seen where if I am going to get to a space where I'm going to see a lot more benefit happening, then I definitely am going to look at what I've already done. I've done some major things. Everything that I've done has led me to be ready to do everything that is coming. So I definitely want to make sure that I have given myself the pat on the back that I need to say, yeah, I've done a lot already. So this is one more thing. Let me just find out. Because the other thing is information. If you're having self-doubt, it's a lot of times because you don't feel you have enough information. And so being able to do that is going to be really important as well. And also looking at the things that you've done before, using them as a stepping stone again for you being able to get to where you want to be in the future. It also, if you're having some self-doubt, may signify the weight of importance of the thing. So we talked about the significance piece, understanding that this is something really big, and it really means a lot to you in terms of pros and cons, or looking at the opportunities uh, that may be in front of you if you are able to get it accomplished. So that may be a little overwhelming for you and may set you up to think of maybe not as positively as you need to about your ability to get it done. Um, the other thing too is around fear. So we are sitting and thinking a lot of times when we're afraid of doing something new, and we're feeling doubt about our ability to do it, it's also because we're being pulled in another direction. And that's usually around three types of pain that we're feeling when we're trying to do something new. So we talk about loss pain, which is what we're going to give up. So if you're having the doubt that you may be able to get to the gym for 5 days a week or so, you may be feeling, because what the lost pain there would be is that you've lost sleep, right? Or maybe you've lost time from doing something else that you right now enjoy, that you know it's not going to be as beneficial. The other thing is around a process pain. So what do you have to actually go through to accomplish the thing that you want to? You want to start back to classes, taking classes in higher ed somewhere. What is the process of all of that? My goodness, you got to apply. You've got to get hope that you get accepted. You may have to have some other things in place that are going to take time and are going to maybe put you in a precarious situation. So you're nervous about that. And then the other type of fear is around the outcome. So what if you actually do get it done? Oh my goodness. Grass is always greener, and you find out it actually is greener on the other side. And this people sometimes call fear of success, but actually being in a space where you are going to get the thing done and you actually have the outcome that you want, then that's going to set you up for doing something maybe even bigger, and you're fearful of that. So that's another area around self-doubt that some of us uh, hesitate to move in the direction that we need to, because we don't want to deal with those big significant things, new things, challenging things. And then clarity. We talked about clarity before, and identifying your why and your necessity, the necessity for you doing it right now. If you're clear about that, The self-doubt also tends to diminish quite a bit if you stay straight in terms of where you want to be with the clarity. It's going to be very significant for you in terms of getting you to a level that you're going to feel, oh, I think I can get this done right now. I think that I can be can I have the vision in my mind. I see it. I see it happening. I see it coming to pass. The other thing also again is around the goals. If you've got solid goals and you're moving in the direction that you need to make sure that the goals are going to be met, then you're going to be in a good place. Okay. Um, I don't know. Let's see. I don't know if I can be heard. So I don't think so. So I'm going to end the stream and start it again. Let's see what's happening.